You are having breakfast with a warm pandesal in your hand. You tear it open and the first thing you notice is how soft it is. The crumb is light, the smell is comforting, and the taste is slightly sweet, so gentle that it almost disappears as soon as you swallow. And then a strange question appears. Why is this bread called Pandesal? Why does something this soft and faintly sweet carry a name that sounds like bread of salt? That tiny mismatch turns out to hold a much bigger story. By the end of this video, you will know where the name came from, how the bread changed over time, and the 5-second rule that helps you choose the right flour for good pandesal. Let's get into it right here on Secrets of Simple Things. What the name really means. Pandesal comes from the Spanish phrase, pan de sal. Literally, it means bread of salt. At first, that sounds wrong. If you have ever eaten pandesal, you already know it is not a boldly salty bread. It is usually soft, lightly sweet, and gentler than the name seems to suggest. But that is exactly what makes the name interesting. Food names do not always describe what a food tastes like now. Sometimes they preserve an older layer of the story. The recipe changes with local taste and daily habit. The name often stays behind, like a small label from an earlier world. So pandesal is not a mistake, it is a clue. It tells us that this bread belongs to a longer history, and that what people eat today is the result of change. In other words, the sweetness belongs to the present, but the name still remembers the past. So if the name points to salt, where did that idea come from in the first place? When bread arrived with colonial rule. To answer that, we have to go back to the Spanish colonial period, when bread entered the Philippines in a more lasting way. Spanish rule did not only bring religion, government, and language. It also brought European baking methods, including ovens, yeast, refined wheat flour, and a different bread-making tradition. But bread was not an ordinary daily food then, at least not in the way pandesal feels ordinary today. Flour, yeast, and other baking ingredients were tied to colonial trade, which made fresh bread more expensive and less accessible than the foods most people relied on every day. Within that world, a name like Pandesal made sense. It belonged to Spanish baking language and Spanish culinary habits, and the word sal, or salt, did not necessarily mean the bread had to taste strongly salty. It may have referred to salt as a standard bread ingredient, reflected an older naming tradition, or helped separate a plain bread from richer, sweeter pastries. But the bread Filipinos embraced was not simply copied from Spain. It was adapted, simplified, and slowly turned into something more local. How pandesal became pandesal. That transformation happened in two ways at once. The bread changed, and the name changed with it. As bread settled into Filipino life, it stopped looking exactly like the European breads that came before it. It became smaller, more affordable, easier to bake, and easier to carry. Bakers worked with a simpler formula: flour, yeast, sugar, and a little salt. The result was a bread that fit daily life better. A small roll was easier for families to buy, easier for students to take along, and easier for workers to eat before the day began. That mattered because pandesal was becoming a useful bread. It could be made in large numbers, sold quickly, and eaten without fuss. At the same time, the name was changing too. Pandesal was the Spanish form, but words rarely stay in their formal written shape once they enter daily speech. During the colonial period, Spanish had an official place in government, religion, and education. At the same time, Philippine languages, especially Tagalog, absorbed many Spanish words and bent them toward local pronunciation and usage. Over time, pandesal gradually became pandesal. That shift matters because it shows something bigger than spelling. Language lives in mouths, markets, kitchens, and habit. A borrowed phrase becomes local when a community starts carrying it in its own voice. So pandesal is not just a bread with foreign roots, it is a bread that Filipinos made their own, both in recipe and in name. And once pandesal became easier to make and easier to buy, it stopped being just a baked product. It became part of the Filipino morning itself. Why Pandesal became part of everyday life. For many Filipinos, Pandesal is not memorable because it is elaborate. It is memorable because it is there. It belongs to that early hour when the sky is still dim, when the street is only beginning to wake up, and when the smell of fresh bread slips out from a bakery before sunrise. That is part of why Pandesal feels larger than its size. The neighborhood panaderia is not just a place that sells bread. It is part of the morning rhythm. People stop by on the way to work, on the way to school, or simply to bring something warm back home. And because Pandesal is small, affordable, and easy to eat, it fits into daily life without demanding ceremony. You can pair it with hot coffee. You can fill it with something savory. You can spread it with butter, jam, cheese, or peanut butter. It works as breakfast, as a quick snack, or as something shared at the table while the day is still beginning. Its simplicity also helps explain its economic role. For many small bakers and families, Pandesal is not only comfort food, it is a livelihood. Bakeries can make it quickly, vendors can sell it easily, and school canteens and local markets can rely on it as a steady morning staple. In that sense, Pandesal is more than food. It helps hold together a daily rhythm of work, exchange, and community. Some foods become famous because they are rich or luxurious. Others endure because they meet life where it is. Pandesal belongs to that second kind. But something else happened as Pandesal settled into daily life. The bread itself began to change. How Pandesal changed over time. Earlier versions of Pandesal were likely denser, less sweet, and closer to the European breads that influenced them. But bread does not stay the same when it moves into a new culture. Bakers respond to what people actually enjoy, and over time, Filipino taste began shaping Pandesal more clearly. The bread became softer, the sweetness became more noticeable, though still gentle. The goal was not to turn Pandesal into dessert, but to make it more comforting and easier to enjoy every day. That is why the modern version can feel surprisingly tender for a bread whose name still points to salt. As the years went on, variation grew. Traditional rolls remained, often dusted with breadcrumbs, but newer versions appeared too. Cheese Pandesal, uba Pandesal, peanut butter fillings, and more polished versions in supermarkets, old neighborhood bakeries, and modern cafes. So Pandesal today is not a frozen survival from the colonial period. It is a bread that kept adapting while remaining familiar. The recipe moved with local taste, but the name stayed where it was. And if Pandesal became softer and more appealing through small practical changes, then one ingredient matters more than most people realize when making it well today: the flour. The 5-second flour rule for better Pandesal. If you ever want to make Pandesal at home, there is one thing you can check in 5 seconds that makes a real difference. Here is the rule. Turn the bag around and look for one of 3 signs. If it says bread flour, strong flour, or a protein level around 11 to 12.5%, that is usually the better choice. If it says cake flour, pastry flour, or the protein is much lower, skip it. Why does that matter? Good Pandesal should feel soft, but it also needs enough structure to rise well. Flour that is too weak can make the dough tender at first, but the bread is more likely to collapse, turn crumbly, or miss that light springy texture people expect. Bread flour or strong flour holds gas better during fermentation, so the dough rises with more support. That gives you bread that stays soft without falling apart. All-purpose flour can still work if that is what you have. But if you want a more reliable result, bread flour is often the safer bet. For Pandesal, do not choose the softest flour. Choose the flour that can hold the rise. And that tiny flour choice reflects something bigger about Pandesal itself. This bread has always been shaped by adaptation. A small bread that kept a long memory. So why is it called Pandesal? Because the name comes from pan de sal, a Spanish phrase that remembers an older world. But the bread people know today is not just a colonial leftover. It is the result of Spanish influence, local adaptation, language change, and everyday Filipino life shaping the same small role across generations. That is what makes Pandesal worth noticing. It shows how something ordinary can hold a long history without looking like history at all. A warm breakfast bread can carry colonial language, local taste, family routine, and community memory at once. So the next time you tear open a soft Pandesal, you are not just holding bread, you are holding a name that outlived the original recipe. Tell me in the comments, how do you like to eat Pandesal, and is there a simple everyday food in your life whose name hides a story too? If you enjoy uncovering the history behind ordinary things, subscribe to the channel and join us for more stories hidden inside the simplest parts of daily life.